House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
House to Home is coming at you as we do each and every Tuesday. I am merely Jason Salas. That is the very, very lovely Gina Campos. And I saved Liz Duenius for last because, Liz, it seems like you have yet another very well-deserved title at the end of your name. Can you please elucidate and let us know this honor that has been bestowed upon you?
Well, I was voted for the Guam Association of Realtors Realtor of the Year. And of course, we're here in Orlando and we're honored on stage by the National Association of Realtors.
Did Mickey Mouse give you the award?
No. Our president for the National Association, Leslie Rudo Smith, she was the one who brought us on stage and honored each of the Realtors of the Year from across the nation. And I just happened to be one of them.
Very nice. And also, even more impressively, this is not the first time that you have won this, right?
This is actually my third time. And I just want to say...
Okay, Gina, let's go. Chef's kiss.
This is something that... as a realtor and working with the association, my objective has always been, what do we need to do to serve? And not looking for any accolades or any praise. We're here to help and we're here to serve. And when this happened, I said, well, I wasn't looking for any recognition, but it came. And thank you for that from the Guam Association and the membership. But again, we're here to serve. And it's not about ego. It's not about the title. It's about just serving our community and our membership.
Okay, you're humble as always, Liz, but put it this way. For my money, you won that award 3 times and everything. They should just rename this thing to the Liz Duenius Invitational Award. So...
No, okay, definitely not.
Gina and I are going to hold your feet to the fire as far as your knowledge of the industry and everything, because I want to kind of talk about today in the few moments that we have is we've talked before about how the rising interest rate affects buyers and what they need to think about. There are, of course, 2 sides to every coin when it comes to real estate. So, Liz, how does the interest rate going up from historical lows during the pandemic, how does this affect people who will be selling property?
The market is changing. I just came from our Region 13, which is Guam, Hawaii, and California, and we're part of the Region 13. And each of the state presidents had to talk about how their market is. And of course, it seems across the board, the interest rates have slowed down the sales across the nation, not just Guam, but because people's buying power has been reduced and their mortgage payments have increased based on the interest rates. So in terms of working with the sellers, we have to advise them that this is what's happening. And in order to sell properties now, it's taking a bit longer than what was happening towards the last 6 to 8 months or even a year, where things were moving fairly quickly. And in moving fairly quickly, what it was doing was the prices were rising. So now that things have slowed, we have to advise our sellers to be prepared. Now, how can we sell your property is if it's been sitting on the market for longer than what we were accustomed to. And we're seeing some sellers offer credits to the buyer to move the property quicker. So Gina and I were talking, every seller has different needs. One, they could be moving off island and they need to move quickly. The other is they could be buying another property, upgrading, and they have a window of time. So depending on the seller's needs, we have to work with them to try to figure, okay, what do we need to move this property? Do we need to reduce the price? Do we need to offer buyer credits? What do we need to do to make it happen? One other option would be seller financing. However, that's rare now because people want their money and they don't want to wait. So yeah, we have to get creative in helping both seller and buyer. But I think education so that they anticipate, hey, this is going to happen. And what do we need to do to prepare for it?
And I do appreciate creativity, but Gina, are you also seeing, because you among all of us have always been the one who like really has the pulse of of the buying and selling community, and you're familiar with the boots on the ground approach, right? Are you also seeing property owners saying, okay, well, I wanted to move this property fast, but I can, hold off longer than I wanted to? And are you seeing people be even begrudgingly patient?
Depending on their situation, yes, they have, and that's why we're bringing this up. That's why we wanted to talk about this topic today, is because we've been talking to the consumers, the buyers out there, and trying to give them some education and give them some information that's going to help them plan for what to do next if they're still trying to find a home. But the other side of this equation is you have sellers out there that also need to do some planning. And as Liz put it, if you're going to be leaving island, you don't have a choice. I mean, you could make the decision that you're just going to rent out your house while you're off island, and be a landlord, but not everybody could deal with that. Not everybody wants to deal with that. So for planning purposes, what are your options?
And to be fair, RE/MAX Diamond Realty offers a full suite of property management services. Just want to throw that out there.
Absolutely. But let's say you can't afford to be a landlord, then what? But you're right, that practically is the only option you have out there. If you don't want to reduce your price to get it sold, if you're not prepared to offer seller credit to incentivize a buyer to make an offer on your property, then that is your option. I mean, maybe you could also leave it empty, but if you're going to leave it empty, I don't know what your plan, the amount of time you're planning for, but I would absolutely say if you don't have a family member that cannot, that can invest some time into checking that property once a week, you better hire a property manager. And we do have some units where we have owners that pay us to go inspect their property every 2 weeks because they've chosen to leave it empty. And it's been, we've been having these properties for years, and we just go there to make sure the AC is still running, just check on the unit. You don't want it empty and not have somebody responsible.
Well, spot checks, basically.
Yeah, spot check.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ladies, is it fair to say that generally speaking, right, if you are one of those someone who wishes to sell property that you've got on hand and in your inventory, if you're really looking to nail that price that you really, really want to make the amount that would have been solid, like in 2018 or even like 2 years ago and everything, you might have to hold on to it for longer. But if you need cash quick, or if you need to liquidate for whatever reason, if you, like Liz said, if you're moving, then you're probably gonna have to sell for less than you would have wanted.
Correct, okay. Jason. There has to be a price adjustment if you need to sell the property or you want to sell it before you leave island.
How about longer terms, Liz? Like, are you seeing anybody get creative? Either the banks or the property owners get kind of like trying to come up with like some options? Or
but see, as Gina put it, based on the situation, we don't have that many owners that will do seller financing, where they would do a lease with option to purchase, where let's say they lease it for a 2-year window. But people have a misconception that, oh, rent to own, great, I can just take over the property, rent it, and then it's mine. No, it doesn't work that way. It's called a lease with option, that they lease it for 2 years at a fixed price. And then after the 2-year window, it balloons, meaning you pay whatever you agreed upon, the price at that point, and get your loan. So it's usually a short period of 2, 3, or at the most maybe 5 years is what I've seen. But usually people want their money up front. And in our market, because things are rising, costs, construction, everything, lately it's rare to find someone that's willing to do that. So the pricing is critical, and the long term, it's rare. We used to do that a while back, right, Gina? But lately, it's hard.
When it's hard to sell real estate, then owners will consider owner financing, because it's hard to sell real estate. So you're going to consider every possibility. But in the market we've in, where we've been in a seller's market where it's easy to sell your property, then you're not going to find seller financing unless there's a reason to offer it. Like the property can't move, baby, bank financing is not possible. So of course you're going to offer that, because you want to, offload the property to a buyer, and you will offer that. But So far, we haven't seen much of that, if any, because of the market that we're in.
And then Liz, Madam Award recipient, I'd like to give you the last word. 3-time award recipient, by the way, if you didn't catch that. What are you seeing as far as people who are in the market to sell property? What is their attitude like about the macroeconomic conditions and what they've done, and the fact that interest rates have had to be raised? Are they upset? Are they just like saying, that's it's cyclical, or are they optimistic?
I think for most of them, they're optimistic because they see the market rising. They see that the prices have gone up. The only issue is trying to sell it in today's market. Of course, everyone I think who wants to sell, they're optimistic they'll get their price. But when they meet with me and Gina, we have to bring them down to reality. These are the facts. These are the possibilities. And if you really want to sell, just bear in mind that the prices have really gone up in comparison to where it was last year. And even appraisals, sometimes we're surprised that, hey, it went up that high based on the market trend. But the market trend is shifting because of the interest rates. And again, from the meeting I just attended, it's across the nation. We're all in the same boat. It's not just Guam, it's across the nation. That because of the rising interest rates, things have shifted. So
sometimes you ladies deliver like the most wonderful news in the world. Sometimes you both have the unfortunate responsibility of being the bearer of bad news, but the customer is always going to get it to you guys, straight. You guys never sugarcoat. You guys never, BS and anything like that. You guys are going to tell the customer, this is what's going on and these are your options. So I appreciate you guys like actually breaking it down for us here today.
That's right. Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, Gina and Liz. Liz, congratulations again. That's wonderful news.
Thank you.
And Gina, next year is yours. I feel it.
I don't know. Liz works way too hard. I don't know if I could keep up with her.
Well, because you got 2023 and then 2024. I'm gonna get my realtor's license and then I'm going for realtor of the year. So
there you go. There you go.
For it.
Yeah, we'll take turns. All right. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.